is because then it became part of them. Once they filtered it through with their mind, and the Mela they understood it and understood the depth of it, it became part of them. Which then it becomes al derech, like we find in Tilim. We find in Tilim also it says Teiras Hashem Cheftzei Asher Liholach Ba'atzas Rishon Derech Hatem L'Yom Gimei Uveseiras Hashem Cheftzei, that his interest, his yearning is in the Torah of the Eibishter. And another place it says Teirasei, his Torah. So the question, how does it become his? So the answer is that B'shas he learns it and he strains on it, so then later it becomes part of him. And later it's named after him. Which this is also connected with another interesting inyan. And that is the inyan which the Rebbe brought a very interesting inyan b'negeh to Sanhedrin. But by Sanhedrin we find that when a person, for example, a person does something because the Sanhedrin, the court in Jerusalem, have given a verdict this and this, so since he is doing it based on the Sanhedrin, he is potter. He is exempt. He is freed from any accusation because he's doing it because he's being guided by the Sanhedrin. This is all if he's been misled and was not aware that the Sanhedrin were making a mistake. They made an error. What if he found out that what if he realized that the Sanhedrin did an error and he's doing on his own still? He's still doing, relying on them when he can object. Or what if he's doing it because he himself feels that it should be the way the Sanhedrin say? So then he is already an independent party. Because already his mind agrees to it. So it's a separate entity from the Sanhedrin, and then he is considered, he is also considered a collaborator like the Sanhedrin, and therefore the same way that the courthouse in Jerusalem, the members were punished for that. They needed to bring a certain sacrifice. In the same sense, also, he needs to bring a sacrifice because he considers himself that he's doing it because his mind also agrees to it. Not agrees to it and understands it and feels that this is the right thing. But if he would have been all completely innocent, he would not have been an entity for himself. And therefore, this is the same meaning as also been again to a person saying in the name of someone else or his own. Since it becomes part of him, it's a new world.
1 second. If he agrees to the Sanhedrin and he doesn't know, and they're wrong, he brings up korbans?
No, then he has to follow with them. He doesn't. But once he understands that they did something wrong, and he still goes along with them, he is an independent party, and he's to blame for that. Right? Then he's responsible for his action.
And if he doesn't do it, then he doesn't.
He doesn't do it. Then he's clean. But once his mind works independently, he's an independent party, and he is liable for his actions.
What about the kol asher yerucha? יגידו לך על שמאל, על ימין ששמאל, שמאל ימין, כל אשר ירוחה.
Kol asher bas? Kol asher yerucha. Good. But what if? So we're talking. Kol asher yerucha.
If you tell על ימין, שמאל, שמאל ימין, so you have to.
Yeah, but the mitzvah is that what if he knows that they're paskening heipach halacha? The emes, the Rebbe says in Cheshem Mishpat and the judicial laws, you have also the union that you can ask Meichan Dantuni. What is the mocker for that? What if he sees something? So the Rebbe Taka has spoken of Habrengen. The Rifle Moshel Arov gives a psak. And the Balabas is a Talmud Chacham. So he has a right to ask the Rav, tell me what it's based on. I find a contradiction. Because it's a Dechfarta Inyan. Mashenken, the Rebbe says, when it comes to a regular Balabas, the Rav is not responsible to give her this. That's how the Rebbe says it in the Sikha. One of the Sikhas, I came across it up lately. If it's a Talmud Chacham, then he has a right to say, he has a chaim, what is it? But the Pale in Shulchan Aruch, it says also that you can ask Meichan Dantoni, what did you base your verdict on? Okay, so B'meila, the Rebbe quotes both, the Magid and the Alter Rebbe. Bepirush Maamar Amud Kuf Mem, Siv Gimel. Bepirush Maamar HaMishnah, Dam Ala Maila Mimach. Shekol Inyanim de Lamaila Tluyim V'nasam Ayidei Avedes Ha'odam Ol de Inyanim Lamaila are dependent and are accomplished through the Aveda of a person. That a person does not bend his finger in this physical world till they announce it milmaila. which means shehachraza l'mayla gufehi mimcha. That the achraza is that the person is doing it. So it's actually two things happening at the same time. He's doing it, and then they're announcing it. And then ein adam nekef etzbay.
Bend or hurt his finger?
Nekef, and actually nekef means taka hurting. Hainu sha'avedas ha'adam lemata pe'eles ubot tolui eifan achraza l'mayla b'negia l'adam shel malamata. That the avedas ha'adam earlier, prior to it, accomplishes the impact on the higher heavens, and this causes later an acharaza announcement. In other words, he is bringing it upon himself, the person. By doing a certain thing, he's bringing it upon himself. The male then comes out an announcement, Milmaila, reacting to his action. As the Mittel Rebbe says also, that what is the union of Einish? There's two shittas in the Einish is punishment. That what is the Einish? That what is the what is the
Hashem said it, no? He asked to come to somebody.
Yeah, that the raw alone. So there's a shita. There's two shitas. One shita is betzim to beneget schar, the reward of mitzvahs. But also in this thing, I think the Mittel Rebbe brings it, that there's two things. There's one that he gets an einish, which means the punishment is a reaction to him, a reaction from above. Another one is that the person brings it upon himself.
Cause and effect?
Yeah, a cause and effect. He brought it because he did an action. It was like a certain registration. Something reacted back. So b'meila hainu v'dihinik.
God in heaven, though. What's the difference?
What?
What's the difference between him doing it and the Shemayim doing it?
The thing is that since the inyan of Ra, when it comes to inyanim of negative things, so it says l'mayla, there's no negative things. Ein Ra yered l'mayla. So if there's any Ra, it is something that he brought it about himself. Same way that you find it. There's the general inyan, ein Ra yered l'mayla. So we say, what is it? The person accomplished that it resulted here in a negative light. Di neksiv kamayim apanim lepanim kan leiva adam la'adam. That Rishas, a person shows a reflection of his face in the water, so the water reflects back. Whatever he shows to the water, water reflects back his image. That this show goes on the behavior of the person. I think we had this also in the Maamar Basiligani. That this goes on the behavior l'mayla on the Adam Elyon shel ala kisei over the throne. That on the dmus hakisei, which is the image of the heavenly throne, is an image k'mar Adam as an image of a person all of above l'mayla from above. The koyal hakadosh baruch hu k'meishu b'tziyur Adam. This goes on the Eibishter as he is netziyur and design of the Eibishter, which the Eibishter is bechlal higher than design. We can't say on Hashem any design. What is it? It is godliness as it is in the format of a chain of creation. It is the union of the chain of creation, which is the regular conduct of world. Is usually Eilam Abriya. Ulamata and lower ad Leilam Hazeh Tachten until the lowest world. Chain Tachten Lamata Imenu. There's nothing lower than that. This is dependent on the Aveda of Yidden. Whatever the Jewish nation does here, this is what they accomplish in the higher heavens. The same image that a person shows to the water, and it reflects back. In the same sense, also in a spiritual sense, the heart of of higher which is higher than the heavenly throne is reflected back to the person. And based on this is the announcement and a positive one or etc. Move on. The difference in the situation, the stage point at which they were up to in the beginning of at the time of the beginning of the Megillah, Ad Ligulas and Shal Yisrael, till they finally came to the redemption of Yidden. What was that dependent on? The changes from negative to positive. It was because of the change in the Aveda of the Jewish nation. Mitzad the sins, a person was driven away, exiled from our land. V'hainu shakashad yeshna yinya shel chet.